That's all right.
From Noe Bits West.
All right. Good afternoon. Hope everyone can hear me. I worked at Columbia University, specifically Columbia Lab for Unconventional Electronics. That's the logo up there. I like it. So it's nice. Anyway, so I was working mainly with the Arduino up there. It's this circuit board. It's about this big or so, and I was making lots of circuits to help out various tasks at the lab. And I'll go over my main one, which is the brain project, which is trying to understand the mechanisms behind seizures. So, what is Arduino? It's an open source microcontroller, obviously much smaller than that. That's the actual chip that drives it, the Atmel chip. It's right there actually. So basically what I did is I programmed that chip over there using C++ based code. It's open source. And yeah, and I hook up all peripherals and lots of other things to make it do what I needed it to do. So this was my main project, the brain project. Now, what I wanted to do is that we wanted to study the blood flow in the brain. Basically, blood that is darker has less oxygen, and blood that is lighter has more oxygen, more vivid red. And we would detect this using organic photodiodes. So, and we did this on mice, but in the future, obviously, we want to do it on bigger, better animals like us, for example. So, of course, data acquisition, data interpretation, all had to be done. So this is the basic flow chart. What we had is an OLED. That stands for Organic Light Emitting Diode. So it's just light that's made out of organic substances. And this would shine a light onto the surface of the brain. And the light that was reflected would go back to an organic photodiode. And as mentioned before, photodiode is simply a device that takes light energy and converts it into electrical energy. So now you would take the output of the organic photodiode, put it through some control circuitry. Well, and as for now, the lab where we're testing it in, it's just a resistor because that converts current to voltage. So then we read the voltage off an analog to digital converter, or ADC. I read the output from the analog digital converter to the Arduino, and the Arduino outputs it using a serial port to the computer where it can be stored for future analysis and other things like that. So this was the actual gist of my project, for the brain project at least, and the AD7896 ADC. So this is a 12-bit analog digital converter. The Arduino itself has a 10-bit one, but that's not as good as this one. So we needed the extra resolution. So basically, what I did was I programmed the Arduino. I made a library of code that anyone, so any of the future grad students or undergrads who are working on my project, they can take this library, just put a pound include AD7896.h file at the top of the code. Just type that in, and you would have all the functions you need to interface with this chip over here. It's a very small chip, but it's great. I mean, 12 bits of resolution, and it only takes 8 microseconds to convert, so good stuff. So basically, first my library would flush out data, unwanted data, because when chips initialize, things don't work so well. And then, of course, the serial data output, and here we go. So in the future, you might want to have like an array, so we can get multiple data points at once. Better, faster, smaller, that's what everyone wants. We might want to test this on humans as well, because that's the ultimate goal, and understanding the mechanism behind seizures. And of course, I'd like to acknowledge Stefan. He was my main partner. John was, I guess, my boss. John Sarek. There were other people I worked with for other things which are mentioned on my poster. You can come see. Mr. Rosario, definitely thanks a lot. Great project. I had a great time. Dr. Nadia, she looked over my poster, made it. I'm very thankful to her. Dr. Kymissis, he made this all possible. I worked in this lab. Mr. Paterno, my engineering teacher. If it wasn't for him, I would be a fish out of the water at the lab. And of course, my family for making this possible. Thank you.